Hi everyone, it's Frankie here from the Psych Professionals. I'm coming to you live today from my home office actually, where I'm just about to finish up for the week and start to enjoy my weekend. But I thought I would come to you today with some information about Asperger's syndrome. So I'm sure you all know by now that it is Autism Awareness Month for the month of April. And so Asperger's is, I guess, a part of autism that not many people kind of know enough about, or there's some confusion around it. So I thought I would clear up some of that confusion today. So first of all, I should explain that psychologists and psychiatrists in Australia and throughout most of the world use one of two diagnostic manuals. So the one that we use here in Australia is called the DSM. So there was, so DSM, by the way, stands for Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. I think that's the term. So there was the DSM-4 that we've been using up until I think it was last year, possibly the year before, where the new version came out, DSM-5. So if we start with DSM-4, while psychologists were still using DSM-4, the diagnosis of Asperger's syndrome existed. So basically, Asperger's syndrome was part of the autism spectrum disorders. So that's along with autistic disorder, Rett's disorder, pervasive developmental disorder, not otherwise specified, that's a long one, and there's one more in there that's not particularly common. So it was included in a bunch of autism spectrum disorders. So the difference between it and autistic disorder, which was also under the same umbrella, was that children with Asperger's syndrome didn't have the same low IQs that children with autism usually have. So they have higher IQs, either normal or sometimes superior IQs, and that was the difference. So on the surface, what that meant is that children with Asperger's syndrome would often just be seen as socially awkward. So it was a higher functioning autism. So now we'll fast forward to the DSM-5, which is what we're using now. Under the DSM-5, all of those individual diagnoses that came under the category of autism spectrum disorders that did exist have now been collapsed into one diagnosis. So this one diagnosis is just called autism spectrum disorder. So instead of these separate ones, there's now just the one diagnosis that has different levels of severity. So ranging from level 1 to level 3, and that depends on the support that they require. So technically, Asperger's syndrome doesn't actually exist in our diagnostic manual anymore. It's not a diagnosis that you'll see children having in the future. For some people though, for some kids who have Asperger's syndrome or have been diagnosed previously, they really identify with that. That was part of their identity, and that was part of how they connected with other people with Asperger's. So, it's okay for that to carry on and to help them feel that sense of belonging. But technically, there is no DSM-5 diagnosis for Asperger's. They now get considered as having autism spectrum disorder, and the level will be lower than other children who would have qualified for autistic disorder in the past. So I hope that clears it up. It is very confusing, but I guess the take-home message is that Asperger's syndrome is now a part of autism. If you have any questions at all, or if you want to make comment or talk about your experience of how that's been, the changing of diagnoses, then please comment below. And we'd love to hear from you. Or if you know of anyone who could benefit from this information, please tag them in the comments or like or share our videos so that the word can get out there. But I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I'll catch up with you all on Monday. Here at the Psych Professionals, we are helping you live the life you deserve. So give us a call if there's anything that we can do. Have a great weekend, guys. Bye.